Hey guys, welcome to the Massive Iron Channel. I'm Steve Shaw, Editorial Director at TigerFitness.com and Muscle and Bra Nutrition CEO. Q&A Sunday, a continuation of Q&A videos from yesterday. If I seem a little winded, I have bad allergies. So I'm going to try to talk slower in this video so I can catch my breath. My allergies, my sinus have been kicking my butt this week. All of a sudden, at the end of my Q&A video for yesterday, they started to kick my butt even worse. Now, if I answer your question in a Q&A video, and you would like a free copy of either of my books, Massive Iron or Massive 6, which are linked below, come on over at my email. Email me, no questions asked. I will send you a copy of either or both. I don't care. I'll hook you up. If you want a question answered in a Q&A video, check out my Q&A link below. I answer every question posted. The best questions I turn into a Q&A video every Saturday, sometimes Sunday. So look for that every Saturday and Sunday. Please come back. I appreciate it. So I've been getting a lot of questions, and I'm going to continue my Saturday Q&A today. Before I get into the questions, guys, I want to please encourage you. I want to encourage you to please check out Huge Gainer. I own Muscle and Bra Nutrition. I'm the Muscle and Bra Nutrition CEO. I have a product at Tiger Fitness called Huge Gainer. Now, just excuse my commercial, but a lot of guys look at it as just a weight gainer. It is not just a gainer. We designed it to have a 3-to-1 carb to protein ratio, which is perfect for post-workout nutrition. So, even if you don't need a gainer, Huge Gainer, only at TigerFitness.com, is perfect post-workout. It has about 470 calories, 25 grams of protein. So instead of eating your protein and those Pop-Tarts post-workout, we're trying to give you an alternative. And at only $24.99 for 30 servings, you can literally do Huge Gainer, which is protein, the same as protein and Pop-Tarts post-workout, for only like 75 cents, 80 cents a day. So please check that out. Now, commercial done. And it tastes great. It tastes awesome. Now, I have a bunch of questions for today, and we'll start out with Galdino. Galdino says, hey Steve, could you do a video about how to apply auto-regulation in a training routine? He says, if possible, could you do for lifts that are more strength-oriented, and for accessory work that would be more hypertrophy-oriented. So, Galdino, I talk a lot about auto-regulated progression rather than linear progression. Galdino is asking about auto-regulation both for strength sets and both for hypertrophy. Now, linear progression, I'm not the biggest fan. It works, yes it works. But sometimes it pushes guys to push for progression at the expense of form. Therefore, if both linear progression and auto-regulated progression are going to get you to the end zone, probably, at about the same amount of time, I recommend doing auto-regulated progression, which is having a goal for each exercise. So, with my rep goal system, which is featured in my book, Massive Iron, you basically push every set for as many reps as possible. You add up the reps for each set of an exercise. So if you're doing 3 sets of bench press, and you get, say, 22 reps total, you got like 9 and 7 and 6. That's 22 reps. Say you had a goal of 20 for those 3 sets. Because you exceeded that goal, you would progress. You had a goal going into those sets. So when you reach that goal, you progress. That's auto-regulation. You don't push progression each week like linear progression. Auto-regulation, you set a goal for each set and rep scheme, and then when you reach that goal, you add weight to the bar. Now, you can use that on any type of programming. For strength, you could do, like, say, a 3x3, or a 5x2, or a 4x2, or an 8x1. And you could say push the last set for as many reps as possible. Let's say you're doing a 4x2 for strength type of work. And you say, okay, I did 2 sets, I did 2 sets, I did 2 sets. Now my last set, I'm going to run a tester set. I like to run the tester sets on the last set because you're doing it when you're spent. So it's a good indication of just where your strength levels are. So let's say you do a 4x2 on strength. You do 2 sets, or 2 reps, 2 reps, 2 reps. On that last set, you go all out and do as many quality reps as you can, not at the expense of good form. Let's say you hit 5 reps on that last set. Maybe you set a goal, hey, if I hit 4 reps on that last set, I'm going to add 5 pounds the next workout. And you hit 4 or you hit 5. Then you would add 5 pounds to the next time you do this lift, and you do a 4x2 as well. 2 sets, or 2 reps, 2 reps, 2 reps, and then you do the last set for as many reps as possible. Auto-regulation, in whatever form, you just give yourself a goal for any set and rep scheme, and when you hit that goal, that's when you add weight. If you don't hit that goal, no big deal. You're still focused on progression, on maximizing every set and rep scheme. You still have a goal to maximize every set and rep scheme. So as far as hypertrophy work, for most beginners to early intermediates to intermediates, I recommend making every set count. Pushing sets for as many reps as possible. Now, the deeper you get into a set, the closer you get to failure. And I do not, the big hairy ugly dude, does not recommend training to failure. That is wasted effort. It sacrifices form. It's not needed. But there is enough scientific research out there that shows the deeper you get into a set, the more reps you do, the more muscle fibers you are recruiting. This isn't just backed by science, it's just common sense. The first 2 reps of a set, if you're doing a 10-rep set, are like boom, boom, easy. You know, and I don't have to tell you, and you don't need science to tell you, that those first 2 reps aren't challenging. But when you get to that 6th rep, when you get to that 7th rep, oh, you're like, holy cow, 8, oh, I don't know how many more I can do. Oh, I got 9 out. I think I can do 1 more. Oh, I got it. Boom, with good form. The deeper you get into a set, the more muscle fibers you are recruiting. So therefore, when it comes, for most guys during their first 2, 3, 4 years, I recommend for their assistance work, for their bodybuilding work, to do a lot, not all, a lot of their sets push for as many reps as possible. Now, once you get into those 3, 4 years of training, you might only want to push that last set for as many reps as possible. But for at least during your first couple of years, I recommend pushing every set for as many reps as possible. This will ensure you're maximizing sets. This will ensure you're maximizing hypertrophy, which is muscle building. This will ensure you're maximizing progression of weight. You're maximizing gains. You can walk out of the gym and say, I gave it all during that workout. Boom. I'm making gains. But, you know, you don't have to do this on every set. You could do it out of 2 out of every 3. Once you reach that early intermediate stage or intermediate stage, it might feel better only to do half of your sets like that, or just to use the last set like that. There's many ways you can work it. Obviously, you can't build as much strength as you could during a beginner when you're an intermediate. So you might have to dial down the intensity and not push every set to the limit. But when you're training for strength, do your strength work and set up some sort of auto regulation. And when you're doing your assistance work, and you want it, to maximize strength, either for powerlifting or just strength training, or for sports, or if you want to maximize your accessory work for hypertrophy or muscle building, push every set for as many reps as possible. That, in my opinion, is the best way to do it for the first several years. So I hope that helped. That was a long answer to this question. Let me get some gains. Next question is from Steve Rogers. Captain America, Steve Rogers. Captain America watches the big, hairy, ugly dude. Steve Rogers says, in your opinion, what is the best split for powerlifting? Good question. And in my opinion, now there's no best split for everyone. Let's get that out of the way. But you asked my opinion, I'm going to give you my opinion. The best split for most people, I think, is an upper-lower split, where you do volume work, bench work on Monday. This schedule is just an example. And then on Tuesday, you do heavy squats, and then a lighter deadlift variation, like rack pulls below the knee, rack pull and power shrug combinations, something that's not deadlifting from the floor. So heavy bench work, volume, not heavy bench, excuse me, backtrack, big hairy ugly dude. Volume bench work on Monday, volume squat work on Tuesday, followed by a deadlift assistance exercise that's not off the floor. Then you take 3 days off after your Monday volume bench press. So Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday off. You come back on Friday, you do heavy bench. On Saturday, you do deadlifting from the floor or a heavy deadlift variation, you know, maybe 3 inches off the ground, whatever. And then you followed it by squat volume work, or excuse me, squat speed work, or a squat variation, maybe leg presses, something like that. So 4 days a week, upper, lower, volume bench, volume squat, followed by a deadlift variation that's not off the floor. That's Monday, Tuesday. And then something like Friday, Saturday, or Thursday, Friday. Thursday could be heavy bench. And then Friday could be heavier deadlifts, not over 90%. The big hairy ugly dude doesn't recommend deadlifting over 90%. So deadlift and then a quad or lighter squat type of work, speed squats, you know, something like that. Leg presses, I'm a big fan of leg presses. So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, or Monday, Tuesday, Friday, Saturday. Heavy bench, or excuse me, I keep saying heavy. Volume bench, volume squats followed by deadlift assistance exercise, and then heavy bench, heavy deadlifts, not over 90%, followed by a squat or quad assistance work. So I hope that helps. Steve Rogers, Captain America. Even though I kept saying heavy bench on Monday, I meant volume bench. Next question is from Richie Avella. Says, what is your thoughts on mobility, flexibility, and functional training trend? There's a lot of chatter on mobility work, flexibility work, and functional training work. You're asking my opinion, Richie? I don't like it, okay? I'm not saying it's bad for you. I'm not saying no one should do it. Look, I am a power builder. I've been doing this for 30 years. I've spent time stretching. I don't want to get into the gym. This is just my opinion. This is just what I don't like to do. I don't want to get into the gym and do 20 minutes of foam rolling and 20 minutes of stretching and 20 minutes of mobility work. I want to get into the gym, do my warm-up sets, and beat the living crap out of barbells and dumbbells. That's what I like to do. I'm a family guy. I work for a living writing articles. I work 60 hours a week, and then I do this after the work is done. I don't have time for all that stuff. I've personally I never get injured, never get major injuries from lifting. I think if you moderate volume properly and listen to your body, you aren't going to need a ton of that crap. If you moderate volume and you focus on proper form and you study form and you work on form and you train smart and you rest when your body needs to rest, and you don't go into the gym trying to beat up your body, but you go into the gym trying to progress, that you won't need a lot of that stuff because you're not beating the crap out of your body. Now, the guys that are extreme power lifters who are using heavy ass weight, they might need to do more of that stuff. You see a lot of power lifters doing mobility work and band work and prehab and rehab and all that kind of stuff. These guys are typically taking a lot of drugs or are using gear like bench shirts and squat suits. They are using just a superhuman amount of weight, and they're placing an incredible amount of strain on their joints and stuff. It's probably a very smart idea for these guys. But for the average Joe, like the 99% of you who are just power builders like the big hairy ugly dude, aren't going to compete in bodybuilding, aren't going to compete in powerlifting, and are training, have jobs and family and college and all that kind of good stuff, and are just, using volume wisely, are listening to their body, you probably won't need it. Look, I don't need to be a supple leopard. I don't need to be a supple leopard. I want to be a heavy ass, ugly, strong bear. That's what I want to be. Try them if you want this stuff, but if your body feels good, you don't need it. That's just a big hairy ugly dude's opinion. That's my opinion. All right. Next question is from Amin99. Says, Steve, Whenever I do flat bench, barbell bench press, I feel my left pec working way more than my right. Anything I am doing wrong, anything I can fix this problem. Look, no matter who you are, you probably have a dominant arm. I'm right-handed. My right arm is stronger than my left. It's been that way for 30 years. I can notice that more, on dumbbell work. When I first started benching, I noticed it on barbells as well. Even after 30 years, I can row more with my right arm than my left arm. A lot of guys will give you all these kind of solutions like, hey, big, hairy, ugly dude, my right arm's stronger than my left arm. Is there anything I can do? And you put this out on the internet, and guys will give you like all this complicated stuff to fix it. And like, you got to do this and that and the other thing. Look, that difference probably won't ever go away. You'll increase strength dramatically on both sides, but I think you'll, like most people, will always see a slight advantage on one side of their body than the other. That's just reality. Shooting you straight, kids. Shooting you straight. The big, hairy, ugly dude. The big, hairy, ugly dude shooting you straight. So with that said, I still recommend that you do a barbell and a dumbbell exercise for all major body parts, except maybe on quads where, you know, there's really not a lot of dumbbell exercises. Whoa, backtrack, big, hairy, ugly dude. I mean, how many dumbbell exercises are there that are heavy for quads? So on bench, do your barbell variation and do a dumbbell variation. Either do incline, flat bench, or I really like alternating dumbbell bench press. Those are awesome. They're an awesome variation that a few people try. For shoulders, I like the barbell presses, and I like either the one-arm dumbbell press, standing or seated, or the seated dumbbell presses. So I like doing barbells and dumbbells for shoulders. For back, obviously, barbell rows, pendley rows, and one-arm dumbbell rows. I do them both. Always have, always will. I think that's your best plan of attack. But understand, you'll probably always have a dominant arm. That's just reality. Don't get depressed about it. Just make both sides as strong as humanly possible. All right, next question is from Samuel Cusick-Riley. Let me get some gains here. Samuel Cusick-Riley says, Steve, should I retract my scapula on overhead presses like bench press? Now, on the bench press, we're taught to retract the scapula, get a good base, and from this base, press up. Now, on overhead presses, I don't worry about retracting the scapula, and I don't recommend it. What I do is when I'm in this position, I try to stay tight. I focus on keeping my arms tight, keeping my upper back tight. My scapula retracts a little bit naturally just because I'm keeping my upper back tight. But I don't focus on retracting it. I don't believe retracting it all the way is the best position for the overhead press. But I do keep my back tight. I press up, and when I'm lowering it down, I lower it controlled and keep everything tight. I don't just drop it. I don't believe that's good for the upper body. So you want to focus on tightness, but you don't want to focus on retraction. It'll retract a little bit. Just focus on keeping tight. You don't need to retract your overhead presses like you do your bench. Retraction on bench is usually all the way setting up a good base. On overhead presses, just try to stay tight, be like a spring, and press up. So I hope that helps. All right. Next question is, this is the last question for this video. This is from Manlet. Manlet says, Steve, I have a couple questions on the same topic. My shoulders are banged up, tight, uncomfortable, maybe slightly impinged. Not badly injured, just really beat up, possibly close to a real injury. I can't afford to see a specialist. Do you think taking a week off from training and doing some band work at home would be a good idea? Yes. Whenever you're really beat up and you think you're close to an injury, it's time to take a week off. Take a week off, eat a little extra food, don't do anything crazy like throwing around a football, just rest. Watch a Breaking Bad marathon, watch something on Netflix for the entire week. Rest, rest, rest. Don't even think about the gym. Have a lot of sex, have a lot of ice cream, have a lot of something. But take a week off. You can try band work, but I would take a complete week off before coming back and trying the band work. Now, once you get back into the gym, I would take things a little slowly for about the next month. Now, I recommend, Manlet, that you get a bench press slingshot. You can get Mark Bell's bench press slingshot from How Much You Bench. I believe it's on Amazon.com as well. That provides shoulder support. Now, I don't recommend that everybody uses a slingshot all the time, but I like everyone to own a slingshot or a bench press assistance device, so when they get during those times in their life, their training life, like you're at, where they are beat up, they can put the slingshot on for a month, get some shoulder support, help press, help work the press without losing strength, but get some shoulder support and help let that injury heal. Now, I wouldn't go super heavy during this time, and I wouldn't be pushing reps for max effort. I'd just be in the gym, putting in work, going slowly, starting a little bit lighter, just seeing how that feels. Don't push strength. Don't push sets for as many reps as possible. Just do some work. Let that injury try to heal. Don't overkill the volume. Don't overkill the reps. Dial things down a bit for about a month, just to see how things feel. Now, Manlet's got a backup question here, additional question. Says, I do pressing movements 3 days a week on a full body program. I bench on day 1 and 3, boop, probably Monday and Friday or something like that, and military press on day 2. My posture is bad and my shoulders round forward. This is probably a reason why my shoulders hurt. Do you think switching to military press on day 1 and 3 and benching only on the middle day of the week would be a good idea? Here's what I recommend. He's very front dominant. He's kind of got a posture issue, and he's on a full body. He's doing bench press, military press, and bench. What I would do first is alternate bench press and military press. So on week 1, bench, military, bench. On week 2, military, bench, military. So you have balance between the heavy pressing movements. Now, if you have an imbalance, a posture imbalance, now that you have your shoulders and bench training balanced a little bit more, I would add more back work. I would add more back work because most times some experts recommend a 2-to-1 ratio between back to chest or back to shoulder work. Now, I don't typically go that extreme. I typically use, a little bit more back work than shoulder and chest work. But in your case, I want to see you do more back work. You need to dramatically increase your back strength. So if you do not have Versa grips or straps, you need to get them for your rows. I want you doing every week barbell rows and dumbbell rows. Now, when you do them, don't pull the weight. Put those straps on and concentrate on driving your elbows back. Driving your elbows back. I want you to get your back as strong as humanly possible. I also want you doing deadlifts and a pull-up variation. So you have those 4 exercises in a full body workout every week. Don't deadlift above 90% of your max. Don't overkill the deadlift reps, but I do want some deadlifts in your program. Now, what I typically recommend on a full body is like on Monday, barbell rows or dumbbell rows, and on Friday, the alternate, dumbbell rows or barbell rows. So if you do barbell rows on Monday, do dumbbell rows on Friday. If you do dumbbell rows on Monday, do barbell rows on Friday. Now, on the middle of the day of the week, I typically recommend deadlifts. And then later on during that day, that training day, some pull-up variation. Pull-ups, if you can't do pull-ups like the big hairy ugly dude, do inverted rows. Search those on YouTube. Or assisted pull-ups, or lat pull-downs, or V-bar pull-downs, which is like a pull-up. Do some type of pull-up variation. So you have those 4 back exercises in rotation during a full-body workout. Use straps. Use straps. A lot of people worry, oh, my grip strength. What about grip strength? Look, if your grip is weak, don't let it hinder your back strength. Do some grip work after your back strength work is done. Never let a small body part hinder the strength of a big body part. So, Manlet, that's what I would recommend. I hope that helps. So, guys, hope this video has been of some help. Again, if I answered your question in this video, my email is below. You can email me, no questions asked. The big, hairy, ugly dude will send you a copy of either of my books or even both. If you want me to answer your question, there's a Q&A link below. Come on over, post your questions in that Q&A link. I answer every question posted, and I've been doing Q&As, look, for 8 and 9 years now, between muscle and brawn. At the time, I was with Muscle and Strength, and now with Tiger Fitness, and I have this Q&A. I have literally answered probably 20, 30,000 questions over the years. I'm here to help you guys. I do my best. I'm not the most popular YouTube channel, but I work my ass off to help you guys with no bullshit advice. So check out that Q&A link below. If you've made it this far in this video and have yet to subscribe to my channel, please do. I'd appreciate the support. If you want to connect with me on social, all my links below are Instagram, Twitter, Tumblr, Tweeter, Twatter, Periscope, Facebook, all that kind of stuff, all that social stuff. So guys, as always, thanks for watching. Have a great day. I actually lift, kids. I actually lift things called barbells and dumbbells. I'm not shredded, so maybe this advice doesn't count.